Hello and welcome to Elvish Reviews, where I just review stuff. And yes, it has been a very long time, or feels like a very long time. And I am coming back with what I guess I would personally consider a controversial subject. I haven't seen this question posed in any of the Knight Rider communities that I am in. And I am probably going to get a lot of flack for this. However, I think it really needs to be asked. Is Wilton Knight the real villain of Knight Rider? And I'm talking about the original 1980s TV show. And the long and short of it, in my personal opinion, probably yes. And I will get to that in a little bit. So, first, we need to consider who is Wilton Knight, right? Who is he? Who is he in the grand scheme of the entire show? Well, first, Wilton Knight is played by the late great actor Richard Basehart, and he is the voice that you hear in the opening of all of the episodes, right? Knight Rider, a lone crusader in the dangerous world of a man who does not exist, and then he goes into Michael Knight. I totally messed that up. But yes, you hear his voice in the beginning. Anyway, Wilton Knight, the character himself, sort of like the Fords and the Rockefellers, right? He built his own empire, and the empire is Knight Industries, and in effect, the foundation for law and government, where Michael Knight and Kit come in. So that all sounds well and dandy, right? So, okay. So then we go. So, how. So, this basically, this rich billionaire, law abiding citizen, I guess, quote unquote, law abiding, right? Um, what makes him a villain? He took this guy, this detective, police officer named Michael Arthur Long. Michael Arthur Long, was on assignment, right? An undercover assignment playing security, and he, got banged in the face. Actually, specifically at the forehead. The bullet went through his forehead, which was going to his skull, and I guess there was a metal plate. The bullet bounced off, back out towards his face. Michael Long is unrecognizable at this point. So, what does Wilton Knight and his team do? Well, they perform reconstructive facial surgery on Michael Long. So, in effect, Michael Long is now in involuntary witness protection program. He didn't consent to all this. He wasn't of sound mind and body to do so. And in effect, this face is the result. David Hasselhoff, yay! Okay, is everybody with me so far? Okay, I know I've done a few Knight Rider videos explaining all of this. Hopefully I remember to post them in the link or put it in cards. Anyway, this is Michael Long's new face. Not only does Michael Long have a brand new face, he also has a brand new identity, Michael Knight. Same first name, different last name. Great. Fantastic. So, Elvish, you ask. We don't still see how Wilton Knight can be a villain. We just don't see it. Huh. Please explain further. Okay, I will. In my return video, I spoke of Garthe Knight. This is Garth. Who is Garth? The only son of Wilton Knight. Now, during the time that Michael Knight was, as I said earlier, put into involuntary witness protection, Garthe Knight here was serving 3 consecutive life sentences in a prison in Africa. Now, It could be hypothesized how Garth found out about Michael. I'm sure his mother probably wrote him letters. Anyway, Garth found out about Michael. And Garth and his father Wilton were not on very good terms. I'd say they'd have a very strained relationship. So while Garth is in prison, presumed deceased, and not to be seen by another living soul ever again, Wilton had the great idea of copying Garth's face and putting it on Michael. Now, I don't know how many of you got. To all the parents watching this, would you do this to your kid? If you were a billionaire and you had all the resources in the world, would you do this? I don't know. So, we spoke about Wilton. The man on the right is Devin Miles, Wilton's bestie. I'll just say it like that, Wilton's bestie. And sort of, the guiding force in the foundation. In the pilot episode, after Michael Knight's facial reconstructive surgery, Wilton's standing, I guess, on a balcony somewhere. Devin walks out. Again, this is all in the pilot episode. I don't want to show the scene because YouTube and NBC copyright, whatever. Wilton asks Devin about the Knight 2000. When is it going to be ready? Backtrack. Sorry. Devin looks to Wilton and says there is an uncanny resemblance between this young fellow and you as a young man. Wilton just sort of gives him this look as if saying, please don't bring this up right now, which Devin quickly responds to, it's just my imagination, to which Wilton replies, stick with the task. Anyway, going back to Garth, in the pilot episode and throughout season 1, we didn't even know that Wilton Knight had a son. So by the time season 2, episode 1, Goliath rolled around, we're like, oh my gosh, why does Michael Knight have a mustache? Why is he doing all these evil things? Well, it's not Michael Knight, for one. And two, Garth is not too happy. We'll just put it lightly. Because again, I don't want to get in trouble by the YouTube police. Garth isn't too happy. And if you want a whole psychological deep dive of Garth, I'll post that in the description, or I'll put a card here. But Garth is basically replaced. Michael Knight is everything that Wilton Knight wanted in a son but never got. And Garth feels that he's not good enough, and the only way to be good enough is to rid himself of Michael Knight, Devin Miles, and the Foundation. That's basically the long and short of it. I mean, you can argue Michael didn't ask to be Garth Knight's replacement, which is true, which is fair. Michael wasn't too thrilled either when he found out the news. He wasn't. I wouldn't be either. But I also understand with Garth. Right, here's this man walking around with my face. He has a better relationship with my old man than I do. While I was rotting in jail, this guy is getting everything that I deserve. Again, I digress. Now here, similarly to Garth, this is KARR, the Knight Automated Roving Robot, the prototype vehicle. KARR was actually created before KITT, Knight Industries 2000. KARR similarly to Garth, wasn't I in for lack of better terminology, programmed properly. So with KARR, he was accidentally programmed for self-preservation, not for human life, which was rectified when Kit was created. Anyway, something must have happened, and KARR was deactivated and put into storage until two goons decided to reactivate him. Season 1, Trust Doesn't Rust. Great episode if you haven't seen it. So, KARR was just being programmed to do what he was programmed to do. Sorry, I said programmed twice. Excuse me. KARR was just doing all the things he was programmed to do, what he was designed to do. He didn't know any better. And again, with Garth, Wilton Knight just sort of, for lack of better terminology, threw him out, pretend he didn't exist, and created Kit. Well, I think Devin was the one that created Kit, not necessarily KARR. But anywho, right? Same kind of blueprints. Oh, we made a mistake. Let's pretend this didn't happen. So let's pretend this didn't happen and fix what's going on here. So, I mean, I guess if you look at it from both Garth's and KARR's perspective, Wilton Knight could be the villain. I mean, Michael and Kit didn't ask to be replacements. Michael and Kit didn't ask for all of this, but we also have to look at it from Garth and KARR's perspective, too. I mean, whatever didn't fit Wilton Knight's version of what should be was just thrown away. Wasn't really given a chance. Now, we don't, again, like as I said, we don't know the relationship between Wilton Knight and his son, but they could have reprogrammed KARR. Or they could have, instead of just throwing him away or abandoning him, they should have rehabilitated him. But Wilton just deactivated KARR, put him into storage, and forgot about him. Basically, the same thing with his son. His son was on a different continent, in prison on a different continent. Let me pretend that I don't have a son anymore. And then, oh, this guy's in law enforcement. He is everything that I've always wanted. He can be my new son. And it sort of sheds a different light on Wilton Knight, I'm going to be honest. Yes, he did all these great things. I mean, yes, if it weren't for him, we wouldn't have Michael, we wouldn't have Kit, we wouldn't have the foundation. I get it. The foundation in and of itself in the show does great work. One man can make a difference. And yes, Michael makes a difference. But at what cost? I mean, as I mentioned earlier, Michael is in an involuntary witness protection program. He was not of sound mind and body to like choose from a whole list of faces, look at Garth's and go, "Ooh, I want that one." It doesn't. I mean, make it make sense. I mean, I don't know. Just I don't think Wilton is this sort of high and mighty, law-abiding good doer that Michael and Devin make him out to be. There's definitely more to him than meets the eye. It just seems like if there were things that didn't work or anything that were imperfect, then it's just easier for Wilton to throw away and start fresh. I mean, I guess he's a billionaire. Everything is just pocket change to him. but in my personal opinion, Garth and KARR are more than just pocket change. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. I have more stuff. Like, share, follow, spread the word. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Elvish from Elvish Reviews, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Take care.